Mornings are not just the beginning of a day, they are the blueprint of your entire life. How you start your day shapes how you think, feel, and act for the rest of it. Successful people don't leave their mornings to chance, they design it with intention. In this video we explore the power of a morning routine, and why it's the secret weapon behind mental clarity, emotional balance, and long-term success. 1. It builds mental clarity before the world enters. We live in a hyper-connected world where the moment we open our eyes, we're bombarded with notifications, emails, messages, updates, and the buzzing of to-do lists. Our brains are under siege before we even brush our teeth. That's why the most valuable gift you can give yourself each morning is space. Mental space to think, to breathe, to be. A morning routine isn't just a series of actions, it's a protective barrier between you and the noise of the world. It's the fortress where your clarity is built and preserved before the first ping of chaos breaks through. The quiet hours before the world wakes up offer something rare and priceless, uninterrupted clarity. Let's understand something vital. Your first hour sets the tone for your entire day. If you wake up late, grab your phone, start scrolling, skip breakfast, and rush into responsibilities, you've already handed over your power. You've allowed the external world to dictate your inner state. That is not how leaders move. That is not how clarity is cultivated. Mental clarity is a result of intention, and intention requires stillness. When you begin your morning with silence, reflection, and mindful activity, whether it's meditation, prayer, deep breathing, journaling, or even sipping tea in quiet, you're allowing your thoughts to settle. You're observing your mental landscape before it's tainted by outside influence. You're choosing presence over panic. This mental space does something magical. It allows you to become the observer of your thoughts instead of being consumed by them. You start identifying patterns. You start understanding yourself. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding wisely. Let's talk about meditation. Just 10 minutes of mindful breathing in the morning has been scientifically proven to reduce stress hormones, enhance focus, and improve memory. Meditation doesn't mean emptying your mind. It means witnessing it without judgment. That practice alone, every morning, gives you emotional resilience for the rest of the day. Now consider journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your goals, your intentions, and even your fears gives structure to your internal world. It declutters your mind. It gives your day direction. It's like cleaning the windshield before you drive. Your path becomes clearer, and so do your decisions. Mental clarity is also about what you don't do. Avoiding screens in the first hour after waking is critical. Why? Because the moment you check your phone, your brain shifts into reaction mode. You're no longer leading your day, you're chasing it. Emails demand answers. Social media hijacks your attention. News floods your mind with fear or anger. But if you protect that first hour, if you guard it like sacred ground, you gain an edge. You become grounded, centered, focused. You're not dragged by emotions, you're led by clarity. And this clarity doesn't just help you feel good, it makes you effective. Decisions become easier, your communication improves, your focus sharpens, your time is used wisely. Mental clarity is the fuel behind productivity, creativity, and leadership. People who build morning clarity are the ones who walk into meetings with purpose, handle conflict with poise, and think ahead instead of reacting late. They are not lucky, they are intentional. A clear mind is a rare thing these days, but it's not out of reach, it's just hiding behind your distractions. It waits for you in that early hour. All you have to do is show up. So give yourself that silence, that solitude, that breath. Don't just wake up with awareness. Before the world enters, meet yourself, meet your thoughts, organize them, calm them, lead them, because when you build clarity in the morning, the world no longer controls your mind, you do. 2. You start the day with a win. Winning the day isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things first. And sometimes, the smallest wins carry the greatest momentum. Making your bed, drinking a glass of water, doing 10 push-ups, reading 5 pages of a book. These may seem insignificant, but they're not. They're powerful rituals of self-respect. Here's why. Your brain thrives on completion. Every time you finish a task, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation and satisfaction. That tiny hit of dopamine creates momentum. It tells your brain, I'm capable, I'm consistent, I follow through. Most people underestimate the power of these micro wins. They think success starts with a major achievement, but true success begins with identity, and identity is built by action. When you complete small intentional tasks first thing in the morning, you're telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who gets things done. This is the psychology of momentum. One win leads to another, one task fuels the next, and before you know it, your entire day flows with energy instead of friction. Let's go deeper. When you start your day with a win, you're shifting your state. You're moving from passive to active, from helpless to powerful. Most people wake up and consume, scrolling, watching, reacting, but winners wake up and create, motion, action, traction. And the best part, these wins are fully in your control. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need inspiration. You just need a decision. Start with what you can control: your room, your breath, your body, your mind. Wake up, move, breathe, create. Choose 1 or 2 rituals that feel good and empowering to you, and repeat them daily. These rituals are your anchors. No matter how the rest of the day unfolds, you've already won. Let's talk about the science behind it. Studies show that completing morning rituals boost your executive functioning, your brain's ability to plan, organize, and execute. These skills are critical in decision-making, problem-solving, and leadership. Even something as simple as making your bed has psychological benefits. According to Navy SEAL Admiral William McRaven, making your bed is a sign of pride, discipline, and momentum. It sets a tone that says, "I take care of my environment. I take care of myself." Drinking water right after waking up rehydrates the brain, kickstarts metabolism, and improves focus. It's a small act, but it has a big ripple effect. 10 push-ups? That's not just a fitness goal. It's a victory over laziness. It's a message to your brain that movement matters more than excuses. And 5 pages of reading? That's not just education. It's a message that you value growth over entertainment. You're not just doing tasks, you're building identity. Small wins in the morning teach you something most people never understand. Success is a feeling. You don't wait for it, you create it. And you can generate that feeling every single morning by completing intentional actions that matter to you. Over time, these small wins stack up. They become habits, and habits shape character, and character determines destiny. When your morning begins with a win, your confidence rises, your posture improves, your thoughts become constructive. You don't just have a day, you lead a day. And the people around you will notice. You'll walk differently, speak with calm assurance, carry quiet certainty. Not because life is perfect, but because you know how to start strong. So don't underestimate your first hour. Design it, own it, pack it with wins that fuel your self-belief, because how you begin your day influences how you live your life. Discipline becomes your default. Discipline isn't something you wake up with. It's something you build. It's not a personality trait, it's a practice. And there's no better time to build that practice than in the early hours of the morning when the world is still and your mind is uncluttered. Morning routines are discipline in motion. Every morning that you rise with purpose, every small action you repeat without excuse, every commitment you fulfill to yourself, it's like adding one more brick to the fortress of self-discipline, and eventually that fortress becomes your default setting. Let's understand why this works. When you create a consistent morning routine, you're establishing behavioral momentum. Your body and brain begin to expect certain behaviors at certain times. Over time, waking up early doesn't feel like resistance. It feels natural. You're reprogramming your nervous system to thrive on structure. That's the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain rewires based on repetition. So if you start every day with discipline, your mind stops seeing effort as a burden. It starts seeing it as identity. Most people fail at discipline because they wait to feel like doing something. But disciplined people don't act from emotion. They act from intention. That's what morning routines teach you, that regardless of your mood, regardless of your circumstances, you still show up. And once you prove to yourself that you can be consistent in the mornings, that belief spreads. You start applying it to your health, your goals, your finances, your work. Suddenly you're no longer the person who tries. You become the person who executes. Let's go deeper. Morning discipline isn't just about getting things done. It's about winning the inner battle. Every day you wake up early, you defeat the version of yourself that wants to snooze, slack, and stall. And with each victory, your self-respect rises. Think of the compound effect. One day of discipline feels good. 1 week builds momentum. 1 month reshapes identity. And 1 year, that changes your life. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's a pathway. It's the bridge between your current self and your future self. And the mornings are your training ground. Let's talk about emotional mastery. Morning discipline trains your emotions. When you stick to a routine despite tiredness, anxiety, or stress, you're learning emotional regulation. You're proving that your feelings don't get to dictate your actions. Over time, you develop what's called delayed gratification, the ability to endure short-term discomfort for long-term gain. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who settle. Morning discipline trains that muscle daily. And here's something powerful. When you keep promises to yourself in the morning, you build self-trust, and self-trust is rare. Most people make goals and break them. But when your morning habits prove your reliability to yourself, you stop waiting for motivation. You become motivation. Now let's talk about structure and flow. It sounds paradoxical, but structure creates freedom. When your mornings are disciplined, your entire day flows better. You make better decisions. You're more organized. You don't waste time reacting. You lead with purpose. That 1 hour of structure in the morning can save hours of chaos later. This is especially true if you're creative or entrepreneurial. You don't need to schedule your whole life, but you do need a disciplined anchor. Mornings give you that. it's a stable foundation you can build anything on. Let's be clear, discipline isn't about being rigid. It's about being reliable. Reliable to your goals, reliable to your higher self, reliable to your vision. And the best part? Discipline gets easier. The more you practice, the less energy it takes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop overthinking. You just do it. And when that becomes your default mode, your baseline, then success stops being occasional. It becomes inevitable. So rise, repeat, honor your commitments, even the small ones, because each act of morning discipline is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. 4. You gain time, others waste. There's a secret weapon that the world's most successful people use, and it's not talent, it's time. Not just how much they have, but how they use it. And the truth is, everyone has 24 hours, but not everyone owns their time. Most people are time-rich and intention-poor. They wake up late, move reactively, and stumble through the day in survival mode. But those who wake up early, those who follow a morning routine, they create time that others lose. Let's break this down. Waking up early isn't just about being productive, it's about gaining an advantage. The early hours are sacred, quiet, undisturbed, no calls, no meetings, no demands, just you and your thoughts, you and your goals, you and your rituals. This is your head start. While others are sleeping, you're building. While others are snoozing, you're stretching, learning, planning, aligning. By the time the world wakes up, you're already 2 steps ahead. This gap widens over time. 1 extra hour each day equals 365 additional hours a year. That's over 2 weeks of uninterrupted focus. Now imagine using that time to write, to read, to train, to create. Imagine how much further ahead you'd be in a year, in 5, in 10. And here's the twist. Most people say they don't have time, but what they really mean is they don't make time. Morning routines create time. Because when you own your first hour, your entire day becomes more intentional. You stop wasting energy. You make decisions faster. You're not scrambling. You're composed. And this efficiency saves time throughout the day. Time that would have been lost to chaos and disorganization. Let's go deeper. Early hours are when your mind is sharpest. Cognitive science tells us that the brain is most alert and creative in the first few hours after waking. This is when you solve problems better, think clearer, and create faster. That means your best thinking, your best ideas, your breakthroughs happen before the noise of the day kicks in. If you wait until the evening, you're running on empty. But in the morning, you're fully charged. That's not just smart, it's strategic. Morning time is also free from external influence. No opinions, no drama, no crisis, just your own voice. That's why it's the best time for alignment. Reading what inspires you, writing what you believe, and planning what matters. Let's also talk about momentum. When you use your morning hours to act, not react, you enter the day with direction. You're no longer trying to catch up, you're leading. And that psychological edge is everything. People will ask, how do you get so much done? The answer isn't more hours, it's mastered hours. Even spiritually, morning hours are known across cultures as sacred. The Vedas speak of Brahma Muhurta, the early morning, as a divine time for meditation and learning. The Bible, the Quran, Stoic philosophy, all speak of early rising as a practice of the wise. Because it's not just about doing more, it's about being more aware, more peaceful, more prepared, more present. Waking up early and using that time intentionally is not a hack, it's a lifestyle. One that separates the average from the extraordinary, the distracted from the disciplined, the busy from the effective. And the best part, you don't need to do anything fancy. You just need to wake up on purpose. You can read for 20 minutes, meditate for 10, stretch for 15, write for 5. Even just thinking in silence for 10 minutes can be life-changing. The key is to own the hour, protect it like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. So if you want more time, don't look to your calendar, look to your mornings. Rise before the noise, move before the world moves you. Create time while others waste it, because the future belongs to those who own the dawn. 5. It aligns you with your higher self. In a world that pulls you in 100 directions the moment you wake up, there's a part of you that gets left behind every day. Your higher self. The version of you that is calm, clear, wise, powerful. The version of you that doesn't react to chaos but moves with purpose. Most people never meet that version of themselves because they never pause long enough to connect with it. This is where the morning routine becomes more than a habit. It becomes a spiritual practice, a practice of alignment, a sacred time where you stop rushing, stop pretending, stop performing, and simply return to yourself. Let's understand what alignment means. It's when your thoughts, your actions, your words, your values, and your emotions are in harmony. You're not pretending to be something on the outside while feeling lost on the inside. You're not chasing goals you don't care about. You're not stuck in cycles of distraction and regret. Instead, you're moving from clarity, from stillness, from truth. And that truth, the place where alignment begins, lives in the quiet of the morning. The early morning is when your ego is weakest and your intuition is strongest. Before the world tells you who to be, you remember who you are. That's your higher self. And the more consistently you meet that version of you, the more you become it. How does this happen? When you start your morning with intention, whether it's meditation, reading sacred texts, journaling your thoughts, visualizing your future, or simply sitting in silence, you're not just performing actions, you're tuning your inner frequency, you're setting your mental compass. Instead of scrolling through other people's lives, you begin living your life. Instead of jumping into noise, you create meaning. That is alignment. And alignment changes everything. It changes how you make decisions. Aligned people don't say yes out of guilt or no out of fear. They move from clarity. They're not swayed by trends or approval. They are rooted in values, not reactions. Morning alignment helps you reconnect with those values. Who am I? What matters to me? What kind of energy do I want to carry today? This isn't about being productive. This is about being present, and presence is power. When you're present, you're not stuck in yesterday's guilt or tomorrow's anxiety. You're fully alive in this moment, and from this moment you can choose. Now let's look at the deeper spiritual side. Every ancient tradition, from yoga to Stoicism, to Christianity to Zen, emphasizes morning solitude as the gateway to wisdom. Why? Because early morning is when your spirit is most receptive. Your subconscious is still open. Your nervous system is calm. The noise hasn't entered yet. That's the perfect time to nourish your soul. And nourishment doesn't mean more input. Sometimes it means stillness, breathing, listening, sensing, just being. Your higher self is not some faraway future version of you. It's not one day when I'm successful. It's already here. It's always been here. But you meet it in the silence before the world demands your attention. The more often you meet it, the more it becomes your default identity. You start thinking like your higher self. You start speaking like them, acting like them, living like them. And when that happens, you stop betraying yourself. You stop wasting time on things that drain you. You stop reacting to people who don't deserve your energy. You stop apologizing for your truth. You stop doubting your worth. Why? Because your mornings remind you daily, I am aligned, I am grounded, I am whole. Let's talk about energy. When you are aligned, your energy is magnetic. People don't just hear your words, they feel your presence. You bring calm into chaos. You bring direction into confusion. You bring leadership into noise. And it all starts with what you do in the first hour. When you repeatedly show up in the morning to align with your values, your dreams, and your truth, you build an identity of integrity. You're no longer someone who's chasing alignment, you are alignment. And that energy, it transforms everything. It transforms how you treat your body. You start eating not just for taste, but for vitality. You move not just for looks, but for strength and clarity. You sleep not just for rest, but for renewal. That's what alignment does. It elevates your choices. It also transforms how you show up in relationships. You stop trying to be liked and start being real. You listen better. You communicate clearer. You protect your peace. Because when you're aligned within, you don't let anyone misalign you from the outside. Let's go deeper. Alignment isn't always comfortable. Sometimes your morning routine will show you where you're out of sync, where your actions are betraying your values, where your habits are sabotaging your potential. But don't run from that discomfort. That's the gift. That's your opportunity to course correct. Every morning becomes a new page, a chance to realign. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Because even small steps taken in alignment are more powerful than massive action taken in confusion. Think about this. The people you admire most, the calm, focused, powerful individuals, they're not lucky, they're aligned. And chances are they didn't find that alignment in the chaos of the afternoon. They built it, morning by morning, routine by routine. Now alignment doesn't mean doing the same thing every day robotically. It means checking in with yourself consistently. It means asking, what do I need today? Is my mind clear? Is my heart open? Am I living in integrity? Some mornings, alignment may mean silence. Other mornings, it may mean journaling, movement, prayer, reading. The form can change. The intention remains. You're not just building a routine. You're building resonance, a frequency that attracts what belongs to you and repels what doesn't. And as you live in that frequency, your life begins to shift. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop doubting. You start acting. You stop surviving. You start leading. All because of one sacred hour, given to yourself, for yourself, by yourself. So don't underestimate your mornings. Don't hand them away to the noise of the world. Reclaim them, design them, protect them, because in those quiet rituals, you meet the most powerful version of you, your higher self. Don't leave your mornings to chance. Build them with care. That 1 hour before the world wakes up can change your day and your destiny. Subscribe to Echo of Legends for more powerful insights. Start early, live strong, stay legendary.